In this tutorial, we are going to solve this problem, find closest number to 0. Since I have already done this question, I am seeing some code in my editor. I am going to reset this and let's start reading the problem statement. Given an integer array nums of size n, return the number with the value closest to 0 in nums. If there are multiple answers, return the number with the largest value. Okay, so let's look through the examples. So this is the nums array, -4, -2, 1, 4, 8, and our answer is 1. We are iterating through every number in nums and we are calculating the distance of that number from 0. So here we can see that the distance of -4 is 4, distance of -2 is 2, and distance of 1 is 1, distance of 4 is 4, distance of 8 is 8. So from these numbers, the smallest one is 1. So that is why this number 1 gives us the minimum distance from 0. So that is why this number is our answer. Now in this other example where nums is 2 - 1, 1, here we have 2 at a distance of 2 units from 0, -1 is at a distance of 1 unit, and similarly 1 is also at a distance of 1 unit. So there are two numbers which are at equal distance from 0, but the output is 1. Why is it so? Because 1 and -1, they are both closest to 0, but 1 is greater than -1. So that is why we have returned 1. And this is what this line is saying. If there are multiple answers, then we have to return the number with the largest value. Okay, so what we are going to do is that initially we are going to set some minimum distance and we are going to go through every number in our nums array, and then we are going to calculate the distance of that number from 0, which is going to be its absolute value. And then we are going to compare if the current distance for any number, it comes out to be smaller than the minimum distance that we are storing. If is it so, then we are going to update the minimum distance. Now, suppose the first number within the nums is the 1, which is at the minimum distance from 0. So let's just consider it as our temporary answer. So the answer is num 0, and the minimum distance, it is going to be the absolute value of num 0. Now we are going to iterate through the nums array. For x in nums, the current distance is going to be the absolute value of the integer x. And if this distance is smaller than minimum distance, in that case, we are going to update the minimum distance to the current distance. And since for this particular x value, we are getting the distance to be smaller than our previous minimum distance, that is why we will update the answer to x. And one more thing, what if the current distance is equal to the minimum distance? In such case, if the distance for a current number is equal to the minimum distance, then we will check if the current number is greater than answer. If is it so, then we will update the answer to current number. And this is what this line was saying. Okay, so finally we will return the answer. Let's run the test cases. Okay, so the test cases, they are running fine. Now we will submit the solution. Okay, so our solution is accepted. The time complexity of our solution is big O of n. Since we are running only one loop and all the operations that are performed inside this loop, they are constant time operations. They are simple if statement. So the time complexity of this solution is big O of n, and we are only allocating space for some variables. So the space complexity for this solution is big O of 1. The time complexity of our solution is big O of n, because we are iterating over this array integer nums of size n once using this for loop, and all the operations that are inside this for loop, they are constant time operation. They are simple if checks, and the outer loop, it takes big O of n time complexity to run, and the n is from 1 to 1000. So I think that big O of n solution for this problem is pretty good.